Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to Lenzerheide. A slightly unusual start to the Tour de Ski this year. Instead of the prologue, we've gone straight into the freestyle sprints. And apologies, of course, for the slightly late arrival. Once again, ski jumping holding us up, Mike. We've not missed too much of the action, but we are already through to the fourth round of the knockout phase of the women's sprint event. The men have yet to start in the knockout stages. Anything impress you so far? I know our qualifying times, our winning times from these heats so far have been around 3:06, 3:07, a little bit slower than they were in qualifying earlier on today. And of course, crucial to get bonus seconds at this stage of the Tour.
It is, Patrick, and I think the biggest surprise so far, disappointingly, Heidi Weng in 5th in the second heat. And if we look back 2 years ago, she came 12th in this event, so she will lose a lot of bonus seconds by not getting further in this event. It's a very tight and difficult course, technically difficult course to get past the traffic ahead of you on this track.
Well, the fastest two from each heat going through, which is good news for Finland at the moment. Ida Ingmarsdottir leading the way out. She's had to work pretty hard to secure that win ahead of Vesna Fabian. And those two were the fastest two from qualifying, so everything holding true on that case. Parmakoski, third fastest, finishing third, just ahead of Ida Sargent, who had a good run, actually, the American, but I'm not sure she's done enough to qualify. Winning time, 3:07.68. That, by my reckoning, by 200ths of a second, is the slowest of the heats so far. It's fine for Ingmarsdottir. In fact, that's good news for Ingmarsdottir because she hasn't had to extend herself. But for those finishing third, fourth, fifth, no chance of progressing through to the semi-finals.
Not with that time, you're right. 3:07.68 has been the slowest heat so far. I thought heat 4 might be a little better. Ingmarsdottir's control, she stamped her authority on this one reasonably early, and Parmakoski, who did lead the first couple of 100 metres, has finished in third.
Now, before we go through the whole programme for the Tour de Ski for 2015-2016, in fact, it's all 2016. We usually start at the end of the old year, so it is the 2016 Tour de Ski. And by the way, Happy New Year to all of you. And hopefully we're in for a real treat over the next couple of months. What have we got? 2.5 months of the World Cup Tour still to go. No World Championships this year, so everyone is all out for the overall World Cup. And this, without doubt, is the biggest event of the year.
It is. When you look at the points as well, Patrick, 400 points. If you win this Tour de Ski, it changes the season and it sets you up to win the overall World Cup.
So here's the lineup for the final first round heat in the women's sprint event here. Some big names going out earlier on. Jessie Diggins was not one of them. 4 Americans getting through, 7 Norwegians qualifying for the knockout stages. More about the Norwegians later. We've got Feindrich of Switzerland. Nice to see her making it through and certainly taking advantage of local knowledge. Therese Johaug there, the overall World Cup winner. Unlikely to win this, but I think she'll be delighted that she's got through to the knockout phases, Mike. Some bonus seconds coming her way. If she makes the semi-finals, that will be crucial. So away they go. Johaug, by far and away the slowest off the blocks. She was half asleep.
I'm just wondering, has she got a plan here, a plan to not bother? She's picked up, as you said, some points, bonus seconds for the mass start 15-kilometre tomorrow. I don't know what happened there. It looks like she's trying to get back into it, and so she should. In fact, she's really picking up the pace on the inside.
Yeah, crucial that she gets in touch with the leading group. In fact, she wants to be in touch with the leaders before the start of the first downhill, because on the flat, she will not gain ground on any of these athletes. On the steeper climbs, as you can see, she's that little more sprightly than anyone else out there. She's very light. Unbelievable VO2 capacity, Therese Johaug. And well, she's got herself back into the race, but I don't think that was tactical. That was just being unaware at the start of the race. Very rare to see her caught out like that.
You know, it was so poor. I thought it must be some crazy strategy, but I think she was just caught in terms of reactions, completely weight travelling backwards instead of forwards. And anyway, she has to work now in 5th place.
Yeah, leading the way, Feindrich, the pretty much unknown skier. Suddenly, as I say that, she gets ousted. I think that was that Jessie Diggins coming through with some aggressive skiing. No, it's yes, it is. Number 14 is Jess Diggins, the American suit, predominantly white this year. Just behind her is Nika Razinger of Slovenia, who's had a good run. Fastest two, remember, going through. Johaug trying to come up on the inside. There is not a lot of room to play with.
Interesting, the next time round, of course, there's the finish line. You turn within yourself, and which is a very tight corner leading into this longest of climbs.
Well, Johaug going again, but she's still being squeezed out on the inside, having to change that style at all. Rasinger not being intimidated by the world #1 on her inside. Holds her ground. Jess Diggins, nice to see her fighting. She's a real grafter, Jess Diggins. I'm not overly impressed with the way things have gone for her so far this year, Mike, but here she is leading the way.
Well, Therese Johaug on the inside. This is where her strength lies, in the very steep part of this course.
Now, good news that she's got up the front, fastest 2. Will she make it through to the next round? If she gets through to the semi-finals here, Mike, can we say the Tour de Ski is over? Remember, she didn't win it last year. She didn't win it last year, beaten by Marit Bjørgen, who was on sensational form. No Marit Bjørgen this year. She's due any moment now. We'll keep you updated on that. Johaug, of course, winning it the previous year. So Norway, who'd been starved of success in the Tour de Ski, the last 2 years they totally dominated.
They did well. In fact, as you say that, she finished 24th overall in this event 2 years ago when she won the Tour de Ski. I think she'll place a little better this time.
Well, she's doing very well. It wasn't a brilliant qualifying run from Johaug, finished 23rd, but here she is in the front too. 100 metres or so to go, little less than that. USA leading with Diggins. Here comes Rasinger of Slovenia, who's finishing fast and could well deny Therese Johaug. She does, and it's the slowest heat so far. So after all that effort, Johaug misses out on a semi-final position.
But look at the time, Patrick. It is so slow. Only the top 2, and compared to the previous 4, 3:09 is pedestrian.
Yeah, Diggins was impeded on the way up the climb for the second time. Someone skied over the basket of her pole, and that certainly will have cost her a second, a couple of seconds. Crucial part of the course. Rasinger, good strong finish from her.
And that's just where Therese Johaug doesn't have the sprint ability. And look, she's stretching for the line 5 metres out. You've got to work to the line. But who am I to criticise?
Because Rasinger's technique is appalling. She's got the wrong leg stretched backwards as opposed to the leading leg stretched forwards. So lots of mistakes there, but an interesting knockout phase.
Well, I've never seen anything quite as slow off the gun, as slow off the mark as Therese there. Just caught sleeping, I think.
So 71 starters in the women's Tour de Ski this year. Last year, what do we have? 35 finishers. That was all. Everyone else bowing out early. We've got 3 days of racing here in Lenzerheide because of the conditions. Then we go to Oberstdorf for 2 races. And then finally, Toblach and Val di Fiemme, the Alpchemise, will finish off the Tour this year. So there you see the confirmation. Rasinger, there was an asterisk opposite Rasinger and Johaug. I think maybe the Norwegians, not unlike them, putting in a protest against Rasinger because she impeded Johaug on the inside, but I don't think that will hold.
I don't think that'll stack up, to be honest, but the jury are watching for impingements, infringements, and it will pick up. It's Nielsen and Caldwell from Group 2, Heat 2, Patrick, who've gone through as lucky losers.
So 10 minutes on air, and we have not yet mentioned the fact that Great Britain had the second fastest qualifier in the men's event. Andrew Young has done it again. He's going in Group 5, so if you've got a few minutes to wait to see him in action, but another brilliant performance from him. This is the first of the heats in the men's. Ustigoff, Shad, Krog, Glorison, Bing and Deerhaug. I'm not surprised Andrew Young wanted to avoid this group. He could have chosen to go in group number 1. Not a good start from the Russian Sergei Ustigoff. He's got to do exactly what Therese Johaug has to do on the first lap. Watch how that effort from Ustigoff costs him on the second time up the hill. That was an unbelievable burst to get back in contact, Mike, but there's no rush up the front.
Look how difficult to get through. You just cannot get through. 2, you're supposed to have, in fact, you can have 3, 4 athletes wide, but the race line is what's dictating their line, and just so difficult in this tight, curvy course to get through.
I must say I like this course, particularly for the spectators, and we've got a decent turnout here at Lenzerheide because you've basically got an extended athletics track, haven't you, on a tilt, and you can run from one side of the track to the other, so you get to see them going up, you get to see them flying past on the way down as well, and the younger part of the crowd are making that crossover on every single lap of the race.
Ushtigov at the back, I am amazed. I know he tried and quickly pulled the field back, but he's detached a little again.
Something must have gone wrong, because he wasn't too slow out of the blocks, but he must have had a little stumble early on. Now he's going to try and make the move again, but it's the Swiss with Roman Schad leading the way. The locals, seems they've saved some energy for this event, Mike. Is that Thomas Bing on the far side for Germany? I think it is, just going into the lead ahead of Schad now, and Ustikov has gone from 6th up into 3rd, and he might even challenge the front two. He will do.
He knows it's so important to get to the front, to be in the top 2 positions at the top of this rise. It sets you up for those tight left-handers, especially into the home 100 metres.
Well, that's
what a turn of pace.
Yeah, phenomenal effort when you consider what he did on the first time, but is he going to have anything left? Will he have anything left if it comes to a sprint for those front 2 places?
But look who's in the back 3 positions. Who would have thought at this stage you'd have Norway 4th, 5th and 6th? I mean, it's not over yet. They will come through, or at least one of them, I think, to get into the top 2.
Well, I don't think the Norwegians have been off the podium in this event since the very first Tour de Ski sprint freestyle event back in what was it, December 2006, I think, the last time they failed to get someone on the podium. It could happen here today. They're being outclassed at the moment, but a little burst coming from Finnhagen Krok, who was 7th fastest in qualifying, and he's raced conservatively. Will he be able to pull back Ustikov? He's got right on the Russian's tail at the moment, but it's still Ustikov holding strong after that phenomenal effort. Here comes Krok, he'll take the win. Ustikov qualifies in 2nd place, and Schad of Switzerland will have to wait and see whether he has done enough. 2:45.7.
Now that's fast. That equals Pellegrino's exceptional time in the run out earlier today. And Krok, he came from so far back, thought he would make the top 2. He did.
250, what is it? 271, 2 points. What have we got for the no, hang on, we'll get that right. 2:45.77, the winning time, and then we're just over 2:46.
Well,
there you go.
That's what happened. Break a ski pole. It's so hard to come back from that, but he got a spare one very early,
and he's qualified. And a good thing he's in Group 1, because he now gets more rest than anyone else going through to the semi-finals. And then if you race in semi-final 1, you have that crucial extra 5 or 6 minutes to recover. And it doesn't sound a lot, but when it comes to getting the lactate out of the system, Mike, and regaining your energy for the final, it's crucial.
It really is recovery time, and you see Ushtigov there. He is gasping for the limited air up here. It's what, 1,250 metres.
And here's the question: how would Andrew Young have done in that heat?
2:45.77. I think he would have been fine. He's got the out-and-out pace, as you said, 2nd fastest in the qualifying earlier today. I think he would have got through.
That was still 2.5 seconds quicker than Andrew Young's qualifying time. So we'll see how the rest of the heats go. There you have confirmation of the times, and it's Schad and Bing who have to wait and see whether they remain the fastest lucky losers. Could well turn out that way. Now, some big names in this heat, and the fastest qualifier is amongst them. Pellegrino, who won the last sprint event just before the Christmas break. There he is, lightning quick, and perhaps his most impressive quality at the moment, his ability to change speed in that last 100 metres.
It's a fantastic ability he has, and that steep climb suits him so nicely.
Petter Northug in there.
He's back, I think, Patrick, qualifying in 4th. He looks the real sparky old self that he used to be, and he's got that self-confidence.
Well, he's never left as far as being a showman is concerned. Some people love him, some don't. I think he's probably the best thing that's happened to cross-country skiing over the last 15 years or so. Petter Northug on the right of your screen. Sweden hoping that Oscar Svensson can do something. Sweden now 13 sprint freestyle races without a victory. Their worst losing streak is 15, so they're getting perilously close to that, and that's an accolade that this team do not want. They'll be hoping certainly on this tour that someone can pull a win out of somewhere. Who's it likely to be?
Well, Oscar, here he is, Oscar Svensson, looking nice and relaxed up front there. I don't think he's almost a reluctant leader at this stage. But the pace needs to pick up if they want to contest that first heat time of 2:45.75. It's picked up. Petter Northug, he is the master of strategy. and he often has himself there back in 5th position and can turn it around very quickly in a couple of 100 metres.
Well, that's a big gap he's allowed to open there, Mike. You really can't afford that. You want to limit the amount of work you have to do on the next uphill climb, and he's still not pushing. He's down in 6th place at the moment. There he goes, quite happy to sit at the back, and a margin of what, 15-16 metres.
And Andrew Newell, last time we came here 2 years ago in the Tour de Ski, he finished in 2nd position.
Nortug getting on that inside lane. We saw Therese Johaug fail to qualify from there. Now Nortug accelerates. He realises the danger. He wants to get up alongside Sweden's Oscar Svensson, and he's done exactly that. Not without a lot of effort, though.
Pellegrino on our left side, he almost caught asleep there. He didn't see Peter Nortug coming through, and he needs to pick up that incredible tempo. In fact, with ease, he got to the front. Yeah,
very, very composed indeed. Pellegrino knows the danger of pushing too hard on this particular hill. Under the banner in 1:57. Remember that for the heat still to come. The Swiss horns ready to fire into action. We've, over the last few years, had some great atmospheres. Valmoster and here in Lenzerheide. The Swiss have really taken cross-country skiing. They've always been good, Mike, but up until Dario Colonia came along, they really were second league, top of the second league, behind the Swedes, Norwegians and Russians.
Yes, but you go as far back to the early mid-80s and late 80s when Switzerland was at its best.
Well, Switzerland still with a chance. They're not involved in this heat. It's Norway really up against Italy. Pellegrino there shows just how good he is in the closing stages. Pulls 5-6 metres clear of Petter Nortug, and he's got a long time to look over his shoulder and just ask questions of everyone else out there. 2:49.0.
Can you believe that was what, 3.25 slower than the first heat? That was very careful, and it was all about the first lap being so slow.
Yeah, tactically wrong from Nortug. I don't know what that shake of the head. I'm not sure this course really suits Nortug, although you have to say that penultimate climb, there is plenty of room.
There is plenty, and he had all the power for the important climb part, Patrick, did Nortug, but he didn't have the finish sting that he's famous for, and Pellegrino just left him with ease. And Pellegrino, I think, played this so clever. He didn't want to push too hard early on, and only in the last 200 did he open up.
Well, we saw the British athletes Musgrave and Young racing here a couple of years ago, and tactically they were caught out. They worked far too hard on the first time up this climb, and then again they had to put a burst on the second time up the climb, which means you've got nothing left in the sprint, and it's likely to come to a sprint. Andrew Young will be in action a little later. Not such good news in terms of Andrew Musgrave. He hasn't made it through to the top 30.
Well, just heard what happened to him. He 2 weeks ago in Toblach, he broke a ski pole in one of the heats. And then today, in the qualifying, and today his Velcro snapped off his handle, and you lose time. He lost out by a second.
So 2 heats completed. Here we go with the lineup for Heat 3. Heidegger is there for Switzerland. Simeon Hamilton for USA. We've already seen Andrew Newell in action. Number 9, that is Jovian Heidegger of Switzerland, and he wants the crowd behind him. He's going to need the crowd behind him. Not a bad qualifying time from him of 2:50.08, but he's going to have to go quicker, I feel, if he wants to qualify today. Emil Jonsson there, one of the best classic sprinters that the world has ever seen. Such an exciting athlete, desperately unlucky with the World Championships in Sweden last year with injury. He's got Kindisch of Switzerland on one side of him. Fosley is there for Norway, and Louis Stadler of Austria wearing bib number 28 on the right-hand side of your screen. They're underway. In fact, Stadler there on the left-hand side, the dark suit with the red flashes down the back of the thigh.
The Austrians, we mentioned earlier, the Swiss, 4 Swiss getting through into this top Swiss athletes into the top 30, and I think it's 3 Austrian. Now that's an improvement, 3 Austrians through into the top 30. Their sprinting program is beginning to pay off.
Now, we've seen Simeon Hamilton do well here in the past. He's at the back of the pack at the moment, but he's taken a very leisurely approach to the first climb.
Well, yeah, that's right. Well, he won the stage here when it last came here 2 years ago, and I was about to say at the start, he must have a very good feel factor today, but at the moment at the back, I think he's just been clever.
I think a wise move so far, but he's found himself at the back, and look at the lead that Kinchi has got. I think, is that Kinchi or Heidegger who's stolen out front? The Swiss in first and sixth, most likely to be Jovian Heidegger leading the way, wearing number 9, and there he is, it is.
And Emil Jonsson there, I would love to see him back at his best, that amazing tempo and gear change that he can often give us.
Good move from Hamilton on the way down the hill for the first time, goes from 5th, 6th up into the top 3, and he's got on the inside of Sondre Tuvell Fosli of Norway. The Norwegians looking for their 3rd successive Tour de Ski victory. Of course, Martin Jonsrud Sundby winning the last 2 editions of the Tour, and as we said, what was it, 8 years in Norway, 7 years Norway did not get a win. But they're coming thick and fast now. And in fact, last year, Mike, in the women's race, the Norwegians took every single podium place in the Tour de Ski. Astonishing.
I don't think we've ever seen in the history of cross-country skiing such incredible domination in the women's field. Not so much an easy ride in the men's field for the Norwegians. But as you say, Sundby, he's not an out-and-out sprinter or renowned for it. But if he wins, and I think he's got a strong chance of winning the overall Tour this year, it will be amazing.
And of course, the Norwegians not on the podium in the last sprint event of the World Cup before the Christmas break in Toblach. Italy, Great Britain and USA on the podium on that occasion. Andrew Young, first ever podium, first real podium, and a little unlucky for Andrew Musgrave, who's had his World Cup win from last year taken away from him, but we can explain that later as we watch the final of this third heat. Emil Jonsson, Jonsson's out clear in front. He's out of the action. I think that must have been Simeon Hamilton who's gone down for the United States, the man who won here 2 years ago. Fosli's going to qualify in second. Oh, and it looks like Heidegger just trying to steal that. Kinchi, in fact, trying to steal second place from Jonsson, but he needed to start that charge an extra 10 metres early, and it could well have turned things around. Heidegger in 4th, Stadler 5, and it was Simeon Hamilton of the United States who went down.
Well, what a pity for Hamilton. Simi winning here 2 years ago, and now in the final 200 metre, he was lining himself up beautifully for the final pounce. And that's got to be so disappointing.
There's Heidegger. He missed out. Hamilton. Ooh. Heidegger's not happy. He feels that it was Hamilton's fault. I dare say we'll see a replay and you can make your own minds up as to who the guilty party is on that occasion.
I think I heard Simi saying, "You're kidding me." So he clearly they don't have agreement on who was at fault there.
Well, I thought that was Heidegger with slightly stronger language than that. Here we go. Here's the final corner. Well, actually, it's Hamilton's fault because he's got caught on that inside ski. He got caught on the outside edge of the inside ski, and he took out Heidegger. That was Heidegger's chance gone.
Well, I think I cannot disagree with that. And Heidegger, so disappointing at home to be just knocked down there into 4th position.
But quite what caused Hamilton the problems, we won't know unless we see a super slow-mo of that event. Fosli has gone through, and as you saw, a good run from Emil Jonsson as well. So good news for Sweden.
Wasn't the fastest heat, it was 2:46.96, which places that as the 2nd fastest.
Yeah, first heat still the fastest, Mike, which I guess means the lucky loser's likely to come from there at the moment. This is the man that the crowd have come to watch, Dario Cologna. World titles, Olympic titles, overall World Cup wins, 3 times Tour de Ski champion. He's done it all. He has done it all. He's back for another year, but things not really going Cologna's way so far this season. He's wearing bib number 8. Number 30 next door to the camera, Didrik Tonseth of Norway. Austria have both Tritscher and Baldoff in this one. Baldoff 10, Tritscher number 19, Hakkela 12. We've got Sundby, Martin Jonsrud Sundby, the best skier in the world by a fair margin at the moment, wearing bib 6, nearest the camera with the red hat and the white strap to his goggles. I think that's what it is. In fact, it's just the base of his hat, but he's in third place at the moment. Martin Jonsrud-Sundby, incredible skier, beautiful technician.
I think the profile on this particular course suits Sundby in terms of sprinting better than normal. The skate 2 action on this initial part we saw suits him well, and he finished here 5th 2 years ago, which set him up for the first Norwegian victory.
Well, Sundby well placed in third at the moment. The Austrians leading the way down the hill. I think it must be Dominic Baldorf. Again, watch for the bib number. Baldorf number 10. Yes, Baldorf leading, and Dario Colonia, no mistakes so far. The the black suit of the Swiss in second place at the moment. Trying to get in on the action is Hackler of Finland in the blue and white suit on the far side. Sundby just buying himself time. He looks a little like we saw from Pellegrino, but he's not got the turn of pace that Pellegrino has, so he'll have to employ different tactics. Still Baldorf leading as they make their way towards the summit of the hill for the second time.
Sundby's teammate Turnseth, I thought he'd be up in the top 3. He just can't get through right now. A lot of work to do in this final stage.
Little injection of pace from Martin Jonsrud-Sundby. He wants to be in front so he can take the inside line on the left-hand turn. 1:57 was the fastest time to this point of the course. 1:50. This is quick. I think we could see 2:45 beaten, but at this stage, Mike, Sundby, well, he doesn't want to get involved in a sprint into the line, does he? I'm sure he's just saying semi-finals will do me.
Possibly just for those the perfect bonus points. That the fastest gets 60 bonus seconds, if you like, or minus 60.
And just like in cycling, the group move faster than the individual. So Sundby is likely to see that lead eaten away, but he's got to the bottom before the rest have caught him, but they are a good 5-6 metres closer. And now the charge starts, and it's being led by Dario Colonia, who's in second place at the moment. The Finn Hackler still there in third, good position, and Sundby's got to try and hold on here. He's got a 3-4 metre lead over Dario Colonia, who's closing as they come to the last 50 metres now. And Martin Jonsrud-Sundby's done enough. He's through to the semis, which might be all he's after today.
Well, look at that time. I think we may see Hackler go through, and possibly even Turnseth. By my reckoning,
2:45.1, 0.6 faster than the first heat, so that makes it the fastest heat so far.
I think well, it's at the moment Hackler and Turnseth stand a good chance of going through. I'm so happy for Dario there. The spectators really praising him for that. So happy to see him back at what's looking like certainly best form of the season in sprint terms. Not the best ever, but he's back. And what a turn of pace there that Sundby had to give to buy himself those 15 metres at the top of the final climb for safety to get through.
Yeah, interesting tactics. I think
expensive tactics.
Yeah, expensive tactics, but he's done enough racing, Mike, to know that if he'd been in the group coming up the home straight, he would not have qualified.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Doesn't have that out-and-out blast pace that you need in the final 200, 100 metres.
So just to confirm, Sundby Colonia the first two, Hackler in, what's Hackler's time? 2:45.53, somewhere around there. That might be good enough. I think he should go through as a lucky loser. Tonseth a little closer to the margin. I think he might make it though, but there is still one more heat to go, and that might be even quicker, particularly with Andrew Young, who will be leading the way out. So Hackler and Tonseth are the two fastest losers at the moment. They have the green flashing light. Nothing will be confirmed until this heat has finished, and then it's the women back in action. But how about that? The Union Jack on the start sheet of a knockout phase. Not only that, it's up the top, which means that Andrew Young was the fastest qualifier in this heat. Is he fired up? Is that he's picking up new sponsors all the time? No wonder, Mike. First ever British podium, just what was it, 10 days ago. Brilliant stuff from Andrew Young. He's up against Roman Furger, the local man. That could be in fact, that could be a tough ask. Furger knows this course better than most, but what will the tactics be? Stay low in those initial double poling phases. Not a brilliant start. In fact, the first 20-30 metres never really been Andrew Young's strong point, but look how relaxed he is on the skis.
And looking so good. Yes, as you say, when you've got such a body mass, such a huge guy as Andrew, that getting off that start line is always going to be an issue against some of the lighter, more limb speed athletes, but he just makes it look so easy, so strong up this initial climb.
So Finland with two athletes in this heat, Pensinen wearing 15, Niskanen wearing 25, both of them well placed at the moment. And in fact it's Anssi Pensinen who has dictated the pace so far, and I think Andrew Young has gone down. I think he's gone down on the corner.
On the little dip leading over the top of the rise, he did.
That is a disaster. We'll try and pick up on him.
Wow.
20, 30, 40 metres behind. Maybe he's damaged some equipment. Oh, that is a massive anticlimax, because this was his first chance to get a World Cup win, and after his success in Toblach, we thought that might happen. I'm slightly disappointed to see him not racing back into it, but we don't know what's happened to him as they start the second lap. There is no chance now of Andrew Young getting in on this picture. He will get good World Cup points because of his position, but it's no longer about World Cup points. It's about getting his first World Cup win.
It is, and when you've got that ease of pace and turn of speed when it's needed. But what a pity, it was just at the top of this rise. I didn't see what happened. Camera went off at that moment.
1:51, the fastest to the banner at the top of the hill. I don't think they're far off that, but I don't think they're quite as quick as that last heat. It's going to be a second or two in it, 1:52.5. So there is a chance of a lucky loser coming out of this group, but they need to be quick. There you see the lucky losers, 2:45.63, the time they're trying to beat. Well, that's desperately disappointing. The French will be happy that Renauget is still in there. He's had a good run so far. The Finns in the blue and white suits. The Germans, as I'm sure you recognise, Eisenlauer there with the black and the golden stripes down the front. But it's a brilliant race from Renauget of France so far. Not expected to qualify from this heat. He only did 2:51.65 in his qualifying run. 2:45.63, the time they want for lucky losers. But the first two will still go through. And at the moment, it's Shea of France and Eisenlauer of Germany. A little stumble there from Eisenlauer, but it won't cost him on this occasion. He goes through, and the winning time, 2:46.5. Not quick enough to trouble the lucky losers. So Hakala and Tonseth of Finland and Norway are through. Bitterly disappointed for Andrew Young. Hopefully we'll get to see a replay of exactly what happened there, Mike. But the fact that he never reappeared is slightly surprising.
Well, I think he got tangled up with Levo and Niskanen. They were both took no further. Well, there's Andrew in the background. Is that just getting his timing taken off? His transponder taken off his boot. What a pity.
Yeah, that inside line for the start, I'm not sure I would opt for that, because the chances of getting tangled are much higher than if you've got the freedom of the outside line. I know you have to go a little further. Here we go. He's on. Well, actually, I think he's caught his pole in the barrier, which is a freak accident, because that left shoulder took a big impact, and you can see he's hanging that left hand down. Let's just hope that no damage has been done. And I don't think it was anyone in the crowd grabbing his... We need to see that again. Welcome back to Lenzerheide. We're through to the semi-finals of the Women's Sprint World Cup here, the first phase of this year's Tour de Ski. And it's going to be a very, very tough tour indeed. Slightly longer than normal, simply because there are no major championships this year, no Olympics, no World Championships. And therefore, Mike, it becomes the biggest event of the year.
It is, and I think it's a brilliant event. Day one, we've got the sprints. Tomorrow, it's the 15 kilometres mass start classic for the women, 30 for the men. So there's a balance, a blend of everything. And when you look at the final day, when the legs are at the most wearisome, you have the final 4 kilometres up an alpine, red downhill slope, and that is a major test.
So Østberg wearing bib number 1. She's the out-and-out favourite to win here, fastest in qualifying. She's looked very good on the sprint track so far this year. Jakobsen, her teammate, wearing 6. Faller, also from Norway, wearing 7. Then we've got Hannah Kolb of Germany, Van der Graaf of Switzerland, who's another athlete who's done particularly well in Valmostère and here in Lenzerheide. So keep an eye out on her. She's in the black suit, wearing 10. And then Sophie Caldwell of the USA. She'll be hoping to make up for Simeon Hamilton's mistakes in the first round, and she leads the way at the moment as they start the climb for the second time.
Sophie Caldwell, what a fantastic season she's having. I'm surprised the red, the mass there on the far side, the Norwegians haven't tried to set this a little faster, because they will be wanting to get all three through from this heat into the final. To do that, they need the lucky loser times, not just a fast time, but it needs to be good enough to qualify through as a lucky loser.
Well, of course, the third Norwegian wants to go through, but the fastest Norwegian, Østberg, will be thinking of herself and herself alone at this stage, and she wants to go through to the final with minimal effort. Now we see the three Norwegians in front, and USA's Sophie Caldwell pushed down into fourth, getting slightly tied up with Van der Graaf of Switzerland just behind her, and it looks to me as though Hannah Kolb is going to be 30 metres behind at the start of the downhill section, and it's pretty much game over.
Well, the pace has massively picked up, and well, compared to the next one, the Ingmarsdottir, Diggins and Bjørnsen, I think this will be a much faster semi-final. It's not over yet. Sophie Caldwell still tucking in there, staying in the slipstream, trying to get as much drag factor as possible.
Just wait for bib number one. Østberg is strong enough to race this exactly how she wants to race. Number 6, that's Astrid Jacobsen being pushed wide. Østberg at the moment in second place, but she's under threat because a good effort coming in from Sophie Caldwell of the USA. She's on the inside line, coming towards the home straight. Norway, USA in the qualifying positions at the moment, but as I say that, Caldwell pushed out of it. Good strong finish coming up from Østberg here, and Jacobsen looking strong as well. I think Faller actually qualifying ahead of both Jacobsen and Østberg, so great finish from Faller. So Norway 1, 2 and 4. Caldwell will have to wait and see whether that is quick enough. 3:04.19.
I think that's going to be good enough, Patrick. It was so fast. It's faster than Østberg's earlier qualifying time, which she set 2.98 seconds ahead of anybody.
3:06.08 was the fastest time in the first heat of the women, so that's not bad at all. Van der Graaf is not going through, just showing her appreciation to the crowd, really for turning out. It is a great event. There was the first mistake from Van der Graaf, just a slight stumble off the starting line, only minor, but it pushes the pulse rate up a little. It means you've got to play catch up from the very first 5 meters of the race.
Look at the turn of pace the three red suits mastered there. In fact, they took it, I think, fairly carefully the first lap around, and then as soon as they came through the passage for the second lap, started to pick the pace up.
I think Maiken Kaspersen-Faller will be very happy with the way that race went. Østberg looked to be under control to me, Mike.
She did. I think you were right. You said earlier she maybe wanted to save some energy for the all-important final. And I think she was a little conservative that time.
So 3:04.49 is the time to remember if you're interested in the lucky losers. Caldwell Jacobsen hoping that no one in the second semi-final gets anywhere near that. So as well as World Cup points and prize money, bonus time, bonus seconds in terms of the Tour de Ski added, or in fact taken off your qualifying time. So the qualifying time does matter, and all those who fail to get through, Setlin, Niskanen, Fessel, Bullerhag, Justina Kowalczyk, some really big names not getting through.
Expensive, and Nielsen, who we saw far left, she only got through by 1/100th of a second, and yet she could still win.
How much energy does smiling take? Because Jessie Diggins must eat into her reserves at the start of every race.
But how much feel-good factor does it give you? The self-confidence, maybe it outweighs.
True. Ingmarsdottir, great season from her. Tall, strong, and she's proven herself to be fast this year. Vesna Fabian, the Slovenians with a good record in sprint events. Petra Majdic, of course, was their out-and-out star, now long retired, but she was fantastic, and all that drama at the 2010 Olympics as well. So 2 Slovenians in this group, and 2 Swedes, 2 Americans.
Well, Well, the suits are reasonably similar, the Americans and the Swedes, so not an easy one to spot. We'll certainly easily spot the Slovenians. At the moment, first and last. But strategies are beginning to be quite similar. The first impact up this, it's nearly 45 seconds of climbing for the women. It's taking within themselves, and then the next time around it really opens up.
Well, if you're just wondering who's in second position, that actually is Stina Nielsen, who she qualified in 30th place, only scraped through by 1/100th of a second, pushing her teammate Setlin out. But she wears the blue bib. She's the leader of the under-23 World Cup. And she's been dominant in that age group for a while. I think she's got a very rosy future ahead of her. She's on a good pair of skis, as you can see there.
And she came really to our massive attention at the World Champs when she took the silver medal at the World Championships at home for her in Falun in the sprint competition. She seems to dominate. They're already the field give her respect, even though she's the under-23 fastest at the moment. Seasonal, that is.
So the start of the second lap, and Nielsen looking very, very comfortable. We were discussing whether her time in qualifying was tactical. Mike, you thought she was cutting it a little bit fine. But having said that, we've seen Marit Bjørgen make major mistakes playing it tactical in major championships.
I think it was maybe she was not wanting to go all out, but I do think that her skis in that qualifying 2 hours ago were probably the biggest factor. And she's certainly getting back into it now.
So Sweden 1 and 2, Ingmar's daughter leading Stina Nielsen at the moment as they round the top end of the course for the second and last time. The Americans with Jessie Diggins still in there. Bjørnsen's not so far off the pace. 3:04.71 is the time they're after.
I think we can say, Patrick, with a lot of certainty, some certainty at least, that this is a whole lot slower, so only the fastest two in this one will go through.
And it could be two Swedes. Slovenia started with Fabian and Razinger. And Fabian's still there.
Sadie Bjørnsen still there, bib 9.
So Nielsen leading the way, and Bjørnsen moving very nicely indeed up into second place and holding second, but she needs to watch out for the challenge coming from Ingmar's daughter on the far side. It's still Nielsen who's going to win this one. Bjørnsen holding on, but a long stretch. I think Ingmar's daughter might just have done it. That was a perfectly timed finish from Ingmar's daughter. She was a good metre behind with 10 to go, and she stretched those long legs to good effect. Have a look at this. It's Ingmar's daughter for me, Mike.
I think she just got that by, what, a couple of millimetres, and timed it perfectly. She looked like she might have been down and out, but had that little bit of fire left.
And that heat, 3 seconds slower than the first semi-final, so that means that Sadie Bjørnsen will not go through to the final stage of this sprint event in Lenzerheide. Well, a very strong performance from Nielsen. Remember, she qualified 30th fastest, off come the pole. She knew she'd done enough. Ingmar's daughter on the far side. Did she catch Bjørnsen napping? Well, I think that's quite likely, because Bjørnsen had already gone past her with relative ease, but just mistimed it. Very tight indeed. The lights come up, the temperature goes down. We're expecting the track to get a little bit faster. It's been a beautiful day. I know the weather throughout the UK has been pretty grim over the last, I was going to say last week, last couple of months. But still not enough snow around in the Alps, which isn't such good news for those of you heading to the slopes. Caldwell and Jakobsen confirm the two fastest lucky losers, both of them coming from the first semi-final. Well, that's going to make Nielsen and Ingmar's daughter's job very tough. The only two coming out of that second semi. Back to the men, semi-final stage. The big news in terms of British skiers is that Andrew Young qualified second fastest, but got tied up with the advertising barriers on the left-hand side of the track. Now, we're still waiting to hear exactly what happened, because the pictures we've seen have not told the whole story. And if we can just get hold of his manager, Roy Young, who happens to be his dad, we will let you know what happened there. But let's keep our attention on this first semi-final first. There are some big names in here. Fosley, Finnhagen Krog. He's not short of company from Norwegians. Tonseth is there as well. It's going to be a tough heat to win. Wonder how tactical this will be. The first semi often turns out to be the quickest, simply because they've had more rest from the heats than those in the second semi-final. So they're underway. The first 30 metres or so negotiated without any problems at all. Ustigov dropping back, but not quite as dramatically as he did in the first heat. Remember, he broke a pole on that first heat. Still managed to fight his way through. All credit to him for that. Petter Northug, his style, very distinct indeed. That left arm lead. Well, there's the first mistake, and it has come from Pellegrino of Italy. So the favourite to win here, just making life a little bit hard for himself. He hasn't taken any time at all to catch up.
What a heat, Patrick, this is. When you've got the four Norwegians, Ustigov with the third fastest time and Petter Northug fourth fastest time. Surely we're going to see an exceptional lap time here.
And I guess the second heat, or the second semi, so a solid start. Krog now taking his turn at the front. Petter Northug dropping from the front down to the back on the downhill, which is unusual for him. He usually works it the other way round, Mike.
It seemed like he got it wrong there, I think, and now he's in panic mode. He knows that this is vital. This is where his old strength comes in, but he's got Pellegrino to his left, who surely will close that door.
Yeah, Pellegrino trying to get pole position, but it's Ustigov who leads at the moment. It's looking like a fairly rapid heat. Watch the time over the top under the banner. 1:51 was the quickest in the first round. They're slightly slower than that. 1:54, so 3 seconds off the pace. That opens the door for the second semi-finalist to get the lucky losers as well.
It does. Well, that was so good to see Pellegrino close the door there. The head-to-head, side-by-side, and Pellegrino won the battle easily against Petter Northug on that occasion.
And Pellegrino just closing the gap slowly on Ustigov in front. The Norwegians look to be on decent skis, but also taking full advantage of the slipstream effect. Northug back in fourth at the moment. It's Ustigov who leads the way around that last left-hand turn. And in fact, they've got one more to go, and Northug just goes into overdrive to try and get himself up into the lead too. He may well have done enough. Very tight on the corner. That's where Hamilton went down, but Northug's through safely. Ustigov with the lead at the moment.
Well, I love the way Petter Northug took the extreme inside line to catapult himself out, but it's not going to work.
Because watch out for Pellegrino, who might just have gone through. Photo between Pellegrino and Krog. Northug 2:46 is going to have to wait and see what the second heat do. Good strong finish, but Pellegrino once again showing his class, Mike. Doesn't matter if he doesn't win, as long as he's gone through. At the moment, I think the smart money is on him.
I think so. He seemed to just carry a little more momentum. Petter Northug right now will be asking himself a whole lot of questions. He might still get through because the heat time was fast, 2:46.66. With a fourth position.
So Northug's mistake made at the bottom of the hill for the first time round. Ustigov clear winner. Pellegrino just gets it into second place. Finnhagen Krog will have to wait and see whether his time is quick enough, and Petter Northug likewise. Well, we could do with all four of those men in the final, but Pellegrino still looks to be in a class of his own. Taking us back to the days of Christian Zorzi, who was one of the best sprinters we've ever seen. There's the mistake from Pellegrino on the first climb, Mike.
And to come back from that, so he composed himself, he came back and didn't quite look as convincing this time as he did the previous heat, but he's probably got his mind on the final. And more recovery time in this in this first of the semi-final heat. So, and that recovery time is so vital, just to get a massage, to try and get rid of the lactic acid build up. It just buys you more recovery, therefore more energy the next time round.
And there are the transponders that give us the accuracy of the times that we require. Great organisation here, as you'd expect in Switzerland. I'm not sure I want one of them for all the effort. Now, is that a chamois?
Chamois, I think it is. They've done a lot of great work here, haven't they? The Swiss snow-making machines have been going all the time, and luckily the temperature's cold enough to stockpile.
So Pellegrino and Croft very, very tight indeed, 400ths of a second at the moment, but no doubt about the winner, Ustigov of Russia. A good qualifying from the Russian, and then winning his first round heat with a lot of effort. The same again in the semi-finals. That doesn't bode well in terms of winning the final, but we will see. He's made of stern stuff. Let's have a look at the runners for the second semi-final. Eisenlauer is there for Germany. Alongside him, Martin Jonsrud-Simby. What tactics will he use this time? Has he gone as far as he really wants to go at the start of his Tour campaign? He, remember, is a contender for the overall Tour win. Renaud Shea, really impressive in the first round. The Frenchman would love to make it through to the last six. The crowd would love this man to go through to the last six. Dario Cologna, multiple winner of the overall title. Here's a big character, Emil Jonsson, always worth watching. For me, he's with Nortuk, he's one of the must-watch athletes on the Tour. And Hakola of Finland, the last Finn involved in the men's race today. Will he be able to take it a stage further? So, Sumby, Jay, Cologna, Jonsson, Eisenlauer and Hakola.
Well, I think Jonsrud-Simby will try and, there he is, going straight to the back, try the same strategy as he did last time. And it's this section which you need to save yourself for the next time round. And I think exactly that's what he's doing now. Doesn't want to burn up too much too soon, but surely will attack up here the next time.
And be close enough to the leaders on the downhill that you're in contact after that 400-metre descent. Sumby just trying to stay clean. He's got to choose which athlete to be behind, Mike. If he gets stuck behind someone who's losing ground, that's going to take a bit of effort to get round the outside and then make contact with the leaders again. No damage done so far for Sumby. His pulse is probably still at about 55.
I bet he's wishing it would be, but I think it's a wee bit higher than that. Certainly slower, Patrick, to this point than the previous heat. So at the moment, we're looking like only two going through from this qualifying or this second semi-final, and they'll be aware of that. The pace will go absolutely electric next time through, well, this time through the stadium. And Jonsrud-Simby, his phenomenal strength in Skate 2 will potentially take him up towards the front from here on in.
That, of course, is if he wants to expend it, Mike, because there's a 30-kilometre coming tomorrow, and Sumby may well fancy saving some energy for that. But he's made a good move on the inside. Slightly different tactics to last time. He's on the heels of Dario Cologna. That can't be a bad move. Now he moves even further left, and he's got to make sure he doesn't get squeezed by Cologna as they come up over this next little rise. Jonsson of Sweden on the far side, just moving up alongside Dario Cologna. But the crowd getting behind their man, who's in second place at the moment, and Sumby's gone for exactly the same tactics. He wants to lead, but he's not got the 15-20 metres that he had last time.
He's still trying to buy more, and it just shows the pace he went up that climb. He's destroyed the rest of the field. He wants his 15-20 metres now to try and keep safe, and I think he's bought it.
Incredible, incredible work.
That is, that's something. He's not an out-and-out renowned sprinter, but what he did there was quite amazing. And good skis to back it up so that the rest of the athletes are not in his slipstream. It's not over yet. There's still a way to go, somewhat 25 seconds. Dario struggling a little. It could have gone a little tighter left on that bend.
But when you look at the World Cup, Mike, he's Sumbi is 300 points clear of anyone else after just 9 events, so a possible of 900 points. He's picked up 688. It's a phenomenal season he's had so far, and he's going to win this semi-final to guarantee a place. The battle for second is between Jonsson on this side and Colonia on the far side. It's critical time for Colonia, 2:45.9, the winning time, and by my reckoning, it's going to be tight, but I think Colonia has just squeezed in as a lucky loser. Renauget, who was in 4th place, will not. He was 1:45 off the winning time of Sundby. But Sundby must have been at least 0.8 of a second clear of Jonsson and Colonia. We've not got a time yet for those two because they're involved in a photo finish, but I don't think either of them have any doubt who crossed the line first. It was the Swede, Emil Jonsson. Colonia must wait and see. 2:46.78. If he can beat that, he's okay. And actually, if he beats 2:46.93, so 2:46.92, I think he must just have done it. Sumbi's time, 2:45.97. Well, I wonder whether Sumbi opted for that inside line going on the left because all the rest were expecting him to go on the outside. It's very, very sensible to use different tactics at different times. Once you've become predictable, the rest of the athletes will find a way to beat you.
I think so, and he could have done anything. He could have gone through the middle, he could have gone left, he could have gone right. He had such a turn, such strength in skate too, Jonsson Sundby. I'm not sure he could do it in the final. They'll be on to him. I've just heard from Roy Young, Andrew Young's father. There's a jury looking at what happened. They don't know exactly what happened, but it looked to me that his left pole was caught in the advertising, something, a rope, something completely locked his left arm and pulled that incredible body mass completely off his feet.
But the jury can do nothing at this stage. Andrew Young is out of the competition, unfortunately. Dario Colonia has gone through. Finn Hagen Crocker, Norway, has also gone through as a lucky loser. Welcome back to Lenzerheide, the women's final about to get underway. 3 Norwegians, 2 Swedes and a lone American in there, Sophie Caldwell. What can she do to unlock this Scandinavian domination that we've seen pretty much all the way through the season? And in fact, you can certainly take Denmark out of the equation, and you can just about take Sweden out of the equation. It has been Norway all the way this year, just as it was in the Tour de Ski last year, and the Norwegians looking to get 1, 2, 3, just as they did in every single Tour stage last year.
That would be quite a phenomenal achievement. They're trying to roadblock, but not purposely, they're just faster. But I think the team strategy would be to try and get up front and close the door. It's not possible right now.
Well, let's just go through a name check. Leading the way at the moment, we have Faller of Norway. Nielsen wearing the blue bib for Sweden is at the back. Østberg wearing bib number 1 as the fastest qualifier in the Norwegian colours, of course. Ida Ingmar's daughter of Sweden is there wearing 8. Sophie Caldwell. It's a white suit with the blue at the bottom for Caldwell. Slightly darker suit than the Swedes are wearing. And then Astrid Jakobsen of Norway wearing bib number 6. Jakobsen, the back of the Norwegian 3 at the moment. Caldwell doing well. She's held her own, but I don't know how hard she's had to fight to get in amongst that Norwegian trio. So it's a good position for Caldwell.
I think Caldwell is very convincing today. She needs to watch out for the final 100 metres. She backed off last time and nearly didn't make it through, but she's doing everything right just now.
Second ascent, and Norway hoping that Jakobsen can fight herself into a good position. Ingmar's daughter going well on the outside. She starts to push the Norwegians. Faller responds well. Østberg looking a little tired for me after a phenomenal effort in the qualification. And it's Faller who's full of running at the moment as they come to the top of the climb for the second time. Ingmar's daughter, 100% effort to get herself there in second place. Can she hold on the downhill? Good skiing from Sophie Caldwell. Still in with a shout of making the podium in the first last stage of the Tour de Ski for 2016. So Norway, Sweden, Norway, America, and then Norway.
Well, that was a brilliant turn of pace for Fala. Has she done enough? I'm not sure she has. She put everything out on that last big climb, but she needs to have something saved now for the final 300.
I think Nielsen is out of this one, but she qualified in 30th, so to get through to the last 6, she will be delighted with that. Still Fallon dictating the pace at the moment. She takes the central line. Now we see Osberg dig deep, looking for something special that's seen her out of so many tricky situations in the World Cup already this season, but still holding on in 3rd place. It's Ingmarsdottir of Sweden. Caldwell fading, coming strong on the far side. Jakobsen for Norway, but it's going to be Falla who takes the win ahead of Osberg, unless Ingmarsdottir can get in there. She does. So Ingmarsdottir takes 2nd, Osberg 3rd, Caldwell down in 4th place. Photo finish with Jakobsen, but I think Caldwell was there. And a win, another win for Maiken Kaspersen Falla of Norway.
Do you know, Patrick, the ingredient that Falla has is like a little terrier, determination. Osberg is all skill, beautiful skiing and efficiency, but she ran out of steam, where Falla found this little kick from her mind to say, no, you've got to fight and fight and fight up the final rise, and that won her the race, I think. What a fighter she is.
Falla top of the sprint rankings, ahead of Osberg at the moment, so form holding true today. Stina Nielsen third in the sprint rankings, but she's either looking tired, Mike, or just deciding, look, 15Ks tomorrow, I've got a race on Sunday as well. She wants to win the Tour.
She does. I think she does look tired. She doesn't look as sparky as we saw in Toblach 2 weekends ago, does Nielsen. She just doesn't quite have the fight. Hopefully she'll have it back tomorrow. Ingmarsdottir was most impressive. Didn't have a great season last year. Great to see her back.
So there are your podium finishers today. On the right-hand side, Falla, the winner. Alongside her teammate Ingvild Osberg. And of course, in the Swedish colours, Ida Ingmarsdottir, who really looked very good. We were impressed with what we saw from her up in Finland at the beginning of the season in the Nordic opening at Ruka. And she's held her form through to 2016. A long, long way to go. The season finishing just after the middle of March, so they've got a lot of racing to do. And this Tour de Ski is a brutal, brutal programme.
Well, yes, the 30 kilometres for the men, 15 tomorrow, mass start for the women, and then, of course, on Sunday, 3 consecutive days, it's the pursuits. And 5 kilometres for the women, 15 for the men.
And a total of 7 races in 9 days, culminating in the Alpchemise. Now, if you've not seen the Tour de Ski before, it'll be worth tuning in for that final stage, which is on the... In fact, it's on the 10th, isn't it? So 8 races in 10 days.
Sunday the 10th.
7 in 9. 8 races in 10 days, that extra race because of the lack of major championships. And a cross-country ski race up a downhill slope. Madness. And I don't think any athlete has thanked Jörg Kapol or Vegard Ulvang for dreaming it up all those years ago, over a decade ago, when they decided that this was the way to find out who was the best cross-country skier in the world. Well, welcome back to Lenzerheide. We're now on full floodlights for the final stages. Just the men's final to go. Hopefully we're going to catch up with the winner of the women's
3
event.
wins already this season. That's the best ever for you. You're off to a great start.
Yeah, it's been 3 wins already this season, and I'm so happy. I feel my shape is really good, and today I feel really strong in the steep climb. So yeah, I'm so happy, and I just feel better and better during the heat. So it's a great feeling to be here.
Congratulations on the victory, and we'll let you go get ready for tomorrow's race.
Oh, I'm not racing tomorrow.
You're not racing tomorrow?
No, I'm going home to Lillehammer and have some days with the training until the sprint in Planica.
All right, well, congratulations on a great race anyways.
Thank you.
Well, that's a shame, and the crowd a little disappointed with that. It's always nice to see the winner of one stage go into the next stage. It is, for many, one of the only criticisms with the Tour, Mike. There's not enough in it for the sprinter for it to be worth them hanging around until they get to the Alpchemise.
Well, she's not the most renowned in distance racing, but she can still cut it with the best. And in a sense, I'm a little disappointed. But yes, if you're looking at the overall crystal globe for sprinting, then she needs to keep her eyes firmly on that.
And it still counts as a World Cup win, despite the fact that she will not win the Tour, which is something that's been changed as from previous years. So let's focus now on the last race of the night. It's the men's final. We've got some very, very big names in there. Martin Jonsrud Sundby. He's done it twice in a method no one else has been able to employ, going very hard on the second climb. Federico Pellegrino, still in my book the favourite to win this one, but he's going to have to change his tactics, Mike. He needs to be clean. He needs to be in a good position coming around the final corner. Dario Cologna, will he be inspired by his home fans? They would love to see this man win, and you can see from the response, he is Mr. Cross Country in Switzerland. He's Mr. Cross Country across the world for many people. Sergei Ustigov, strong. He's worked very, very hard. He's dug deep on both of his rounds so far. Has he got anything left in the tank? Emil Jonsson, his hamstrings are still in one piece. That's a good bit of news, but what can he do to win? He's certainly got the potential. He's won many, many sprints before, but he's going to have to find his best if he's going to beat the 5 men alongside him today. And Finn Hagen Krogh, can you believe it, Mike? Just 2 Norwegians.
It's an incredible lineup though, Patrick, even with just 2 Norwegians, with Emil Jonsson there, with Pellegrino, and Ustigov for me has been one of the most impressive. Has he burnt too much out within the heats?
So they're underway, 2 laps of the course, just the same as we've seen from the women. Sundby will drop back initially, he'll take the first lap slowly, then he'll turn on the afterburners. Ustigov will just go 100% all the way round. There he is out front. Krogh in second place at the moment. Dario Cologna well positioned. That's something you've noticed from his racing over the years. Get yourself in a good position, don't take the risks of hanging back like Norton.
Yeah, he's so smooth, so casual, so easy as Cologna, and I think, Patrick, he's getting nearly back to where we expected from 2, 3, 4 years ago, and maybe he has a real chance of winning the Tour de Ski this year.
Okay, so let's just name check. We've got Ustigov out front, we've got Krogh in second for Norway at the moment, Dario Cologna in the black suit behind him, and then the favourite Pellegrino in 4 at the moment, and just behind Pellegrino, Emil Jonsson, and at the back of the pack is Martin Jonsrud Sundby, who might now decide he's done enough for the day, save something for the 30k tomorrow.
Well, do you know what? If he doesn't have that somewhere in the back of his mind, it's a big day, it's a mass start, and he really is the favourite tomorrow as well. But I think we'll see him put the turbos on up the straight.
Will he go inside? Will he go outside? He's on the inside line at the moment, Sundby, and he's got to hope that Pellegrino moves to one side if he's going to go through, but he could do worse than stay on the Italian's tail. Sundby Dario Cologna has gone down, so more disappointment for the fans.
The jury will look at that. I'm not sure if Pellegrino got in his way or interfered or put a ski in between, his pole in between. I didn't see it.
But what can they do? They can't change the result. So it's Ustigov leads, Pellegrino moving up into second place, just where he wants to be at this stage. Krogh of Norway in third. Sundby unable to take the lead this time around. He was a little tied up with Dario Cologna, and I think Sundby has had enough.
It's a great in the strategy. I think you said it from Ustigov, will just go crazy from the gun, and he's taken all of the sting so far out of the opposition.
I beg to differ. Pellegrino will find something. He nearly always does, and here he comes. A couple of extra skating strides from Pellegrino. He comes right up alongside Ustigov for nothing. That was meters got for free.
I think we've seen all day, Patrick, Ustigov skis. He's had a lead there every time, and they've caught him, not just the slipstreamers, but at number 7, of course, Krogh pulled in a huge amount of distance as well.
Well, it may be skis, we're not to know, but one thing Pellegrino did so well was to work over the top of the hill, which you must have told thousands and thousands of budding skiers, do not stop the work rate until you're at maximum speed. And that little move from Pellegrino has given him an easy run into the finish. The next win goes to Pellegrino. He won in Toblach, of course, and he makes it 2 in a row here. Ustigov second place, he has to be happy with that. Finn Hagen Krogh, he gets the Norwegians on the podium, so that record runs and runs and runs. But Sundby, the world #1, down in 4th place.
And he backed off, and he tried to go with Pellegrino, he tried to stay with that crazy pace, but Ustigov had taken all of the sting out of the reserves that any of these 6 athletes or the other 5 had in their stores. And
So So Pellegrino has been absolutely outstanding in the sprinting this year. He tops the table, 3 wins in a row now in terms of World Cups. He finished 7th in the opening race in Ruka. Can't quite remember what happened there, but Ruka is a unique course, isn't it, Mike?
And classic. He had all the pace, but he got his placement a little wrong in the final part. Poor old Cologne.
Yeah, that's very disappointing for the thousands of fans that had turned up. I don't think Cologne would have challenged Pellegrino, but he might have given Ustigov a run for his money, and almost certainly would have been in a position to challenge for a podium. So disappointment for Cologne, disappointment for Andrew Young. If you're a British fan and you missed his heat earlier on, he got tied up. We think he got tied up with the advertising hoardings on the left-hand side. He was also involved in a little battle with Renaud Gay of France, who was just squeezing him onto that left-hand side of the course.
And just a message from Roy Young, just saying that there's some bruising on his arm, so that his body weight stopped entirely by that left pole being anchored down by something, and dragged him off his skis.
Yeah, a good thump in the shoulder won't do him any harm, but if he's wrenched that shoulder, it's such a delicate joint, and shoulder injuries can take a long time to heal. Anyone who's had a rotator cuff injury will know all about it, and the months of tedious physio you have to go through. We do not want that for Andrew Young, just as he has made a massive breakthrough this season.
Well, he has, and it's such a big disappointment, massive disappointment for the British team today. Hopefully they'll put that behind them, look at what happened, how it happened, and learn from it and come back stronger.
Bold tactics from Ustigov, Mike. In the end it didn't quite work, but from his reaction when he crossed the line, that was Cologne going down. From Ustigov's reaction, he was happy with second.
I think, and so he should be. I mean, he put in a brave strategy there to try and lead it from the gun to the line. Never easy in sprint finals, especially when you've got this season's sensation, Pellegrino, on your case.
Well, how long is Pellegrino going to stick around in terms of the Tour de Ski? He's got, what, a 30-kilometre tomorrow, a 10K on Sunday if he hangs around. And he doesn't get another sprint until Oberstdorf. I think we're going to see the bulk of the sprinters doing exactly what Faller has done from the Women's Tour and called it a day. She's heading home to Norway.
Quite amazing. I thought we'd see her staying till day 4, and as you said, the next sprint in Oberstdorf. But just thinking of Pellegrino, Zorzi, the great Cristiano Zorzi, had 5 wins in his career. And of course, Pellegrino closing in on that with, I believe, 4 today.
Well, what a great race. More success for the Norwegian women with a victory from Faller, but they did not get a 1-2-3 in the women's podium, as we've seen so often before. In the men's race, it was all about Pellegrino. Brilliant tactics, brilliant ski speed, unbelievable turn of speed, which has won him many events in the past. So Pellegrino takes the win, Ustigov second, Finnhagen Krok. It's not just about this sprint, Mike, it's about the Tour de Ski. Who's in a good spot now? Usberg in the women's.
Well, and of course Sundby with picking up, 48 seconds bonus, if you like, today.
Well, hopefully we're going to hear from Pellegrino, and the one thing we don't want to hear is that he's heading back to Italy after today's race. But I think with the way they've devised the programme, the sprinters are not going to like the sound of a 30-kilometre followed by a 10, followed by a 20 skiathlon
right,
event.
Federico,
and as we say,
you are now the most successful Italian
Today's
sprinter
winner
of all time. In fact, you are tied with Pillicotto for the most Italian World Cup victories ever. And we spoke earlier today about doing the interview and the finish. Here we are.
Yeah, this year I'm in a very good shape, but we don't have World Championships and Olympic Games, so it's good to win in World Cup. But now I have to grow up a little bit more for the next years, for the big events. Now it's very good to have made the same record than last year, three sprint skates in a row. In Planica we have the 4th. I will try to be better, but now I have to say many thanks to the public, to organization, because it's a really fantastic race with the lights, a lot of people, a lot of fun also for the racers. Thank you to my supporters. Grazie fans club. Grazie alla mia famiglia, Greta, a tutti. Grazie a voi.
Congratulations, you can go to your support.
what a nice guy. What a nice guy, and very generous with his thanks as well, appreciating all the effort the Swiss go to hold this event. They're not as experienced as the Scandinavians, but they do just as good a job. Well, there are the standings in the women's. That 1 minute bonus given to Faller. She's only 4 seconds clear of Ingmar's daughter. Usberg, might you think on that first sheet a promising chance for the Tour de Ski, but it's number 15, Therese Johaug. Bonus seconds in the sprint today. She will go from strength to strength, and my guess is by the end of this weekend she will be heading the Tour.
Well, that's right, with 15 Classic tomorrow, a mass start, she'll be like a little terrier.
Well, hopefully we'll get a rundown of the men's as well. We also need just to show you what time the events are up. It's a busy weekend, the ski jumping, the cross-country skiing, alpine skiing going on as well. So the mass start from Lenzerheide starts at 11:45 UK time tomorrow, and the men's race going off at 2:15, and then they're back in action again on the Sunday. Free pursuit based on the results of tomorrow's race. 10:30 start, a little earlier for the men, and then the ladies only going over 5k. It will be fast and furious. It's quite a tough course as well here in Lenzerheide, but that could be where Therese Johaug makes her move. So that's all from Lenzerheide and the first day of the 2016 Tour de Ski. All sorts of drama, misfortune for Andrew Young, and of course for Dario Cologna in that final. Well done to Faller, of course, and Pellegrino, the two winners here in the opening event of the Tour de Ski. We'll be with you throughout. Thanks for your company, and we'll see you soon. Good night.